My name is Kenneth Burt. My company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens. Now, when we do these demonstrations and we tell you what this and what that should look like, this is me educating you, showing you exactly what an environment should look like. If someone is trying to display a well-lit environment, saying the screens are ambient light rejection, even if they're saying the screens are not ambient light rejection, which they should be saying, no screen paint out there should ever be saying that the screen is not ambient light rejection. That's the first sign that if someone's telling you that, hey, look, our screens don't require ambient light rejection due to the fact that they can produce in a fully lit environment without ambient light rejection technology, that's not good. That's a bad sign. I mean, it can't do it at all, period. It's an excuse or a protocol. Protocol, like we say with these high-end expensive screens out here, we say you have to be in an ambient light controlled environment, even though your screen is ambient light rejection. AKA, they're just trying to, at the end of the day, we can't function in a fully lit environment due to the fact that our screen is going to have complications. So you have to use it in this environment and it'll work better. So when someone sits there and says screen's not ambient light rejection, they're clearly telling you it is not going to work at all with any form of ambient light, even though they try to display it in ambient light. And it also goes down to certifieds and hobbies. I've seen it all day long yesterday, all day. Yesterday, the day before. As much as I've been in business, I've seen it. The first minute you've seen ambient light rejection technology come up on the scene, I've seen especially certifieds come out and say, hey, look, we got ambient light rejection, but in the environments, you got light pretty much dodging screens left and right. So this is the usual. This is what I usually used to see. A little light in the corner. They can, with a shade on it, they consider it to be ambient light rejection. So how dark the environment is. It's a nice bright room, but you won't see it. Now these curtains right here usually are going to be darker than this. Usually it'll be black shades, something dark to keep any light from pushing through. Windows would be dark, or it'd be a dark window with a curtain, anything blocking something where it doesn't hit the screen, so they can pull off an image that's decent where the screen is not going to wash out. Now the one screen that is going to have that issue, when trying to display, is going to be a gray screen. Gray screens, white screens are going to have issues. Gunmetals, you don't see a lot of gunmetal demonstrations in fully lit environments unless you're using ultra short throw projectors, between the projectors literally sitting right up on top of the screen. Because they got a better chance of maintaining a better image if the projector is close to the screen. And I've noticed that in a lot of these demonstrations, they will depend on ultra short throws, again, because the distance throw isn't there, and they're not going to have to fight with a lot of ambient light, and they're not going to have to worry about losing picture quality or contrast and so forth, because the projector is literally sitting right up on top of the screen. We have been noticing that most of the time, most of them, not all now, they've been using ultra short throws. Now, and like I said, that's another way of basically hiding the fact that the screen's not going to do too well in a fully lit environment. And on top of it, like I said, ambient light control. This is not even really ambient light controlled. This is what some people do in their demonstrations to try to make a screen look like it's in a well-lit environment that's not. Another trick, to put a lot of backlighting behind the back of the screen, and they'll brighten it up to white to give it the illusion that there's light going off. But you can't cover the fact that you're going to have pockets of darkness in the environment. Different colored walls, which that's why we have one room in there that does have a darker room, and over there we make sure we have a lot of light in that environment to brighten it up. But other than that, these are some of the tricks they use. If you notice that you watch videos, they'll have every window blocked up with some kind of black to make sure no light goes through, so that way we can keep the environment as dark as possible. This is the reason why I told people, when I explained to them, your stuff comes over here, it's not going to do well over here. I mean, with anybody, I don't care if you're certified, I don't care if you're non-certified, you're not going to do well over here, because this is what we don't rely on. And on top of that, they have to rely on a high-end, high-powered projector, because even in the dark and even with so much lights on, they are still losing a rapid amount of contrast, color, and the white levels. The white levels are good. Like I said, they're going to lose it. Compared to white screen, no, they're not going to compete with white screen. But compared to any of the other screens, yeah, their white levels are going to maintain, but that contrast and color is going to go. And that's one thing you don't have to worry about with a white screen. You got to maintain your white levels, but your contrast and color is going to go. So you got to bump up from the white screen. Let's see what remote control Mr. Bird got upstairs. If he's got the right one. There we go. Now this is what they're used to. This is their environment. There is no way in the world I can sit in an environment like this. And even in this environment, they still can't pick up proper color and proper contrast. Oh, they got another demonstration right here. They got a couple of them. Every time I fire this screen, this screen looks amazing. Mind you, my projector behind me costs $109. The most you're gonna pay for the projector behind me is $250. That's it. That's the most you're gonna pay for it. Consider the fact that a lot better than $1,000, a lot better than $1,200, a lot better than $1,500, $1,700, $1,800, even $2,000, $3,000. Matter of fact, we just did the demonstration yesterday. Let's redo it again with more light in the environment. I did this demonstration. And this demonstration right here, I noticed, is labeled deep black. How is a gray screen trying to display a deep black screen on a surface that can't see contrast in the beginning? And I keep explaining to people, just like the pixel shifting technology, you are not seeing 4K. You're seeing a fake version of 4K. Just like when you come to a gray screen, you're not seeing contrast levels. You're seeing fake levels of contrast, including the high-powered and elitist gunmetals. You're not seeing contrast. I don't care how powerful your projector is, you still can't pick it up. Now, this is usually what you're used to seeing in some of these environments. And they go, well, look, it's ambient light. It's ambient light. We got light coming through here. And we got light over here, and we got light right there and there. No, you don't. Environment's still too dark. You don't have true ambient light projection technology. Now we're going to be checking our YouTube accounts. I got some pretty interesting messages that came across. One I saw in particular, which I found quite interesting. We have a screen sitting outside at 135 inches, displayed taking in light. And someone says, oh, that's not ambient light projection technology. Again, that screen is outside, not inside. There's no walls or ceilings protecting it at all like we have in here. So we'll look through that right there. We get those every once in a while. People who really don't understand what ambient light projection technology really is. The reason why you have ambient light projection technology is it allows you, the same thing having a high gain on your screen, it allows your screen to be able to produce an amazing image in a fully lit environment without the screen washing out and fading. It's supposed to maintain. Your screen does not fade if you have true ambient light projection technology. Some people think if the screen is viewable, which means all this could be washed out, discoloration, whatever, but as long as you can see a faint image in there, it's considered to be passable. No, it's not passable. Just like when I go into forum sites and I talk to people who have TVs, high-end elite TVs and setups in there, do you think you're gonna spend about 70 or 80,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30, 40, 50,000 for a TV, get it home, and it's all washed out here and here, and they're gonna go, oh, that's acceptable? No. So why in the world would you expect that from your screen at the end of the day? Let's turn on some real lights. You don't use those. See if we got the lights on for here. Here we go. This is what we use. And let's open up the curtains behind the back of us, which we usually like to do. A little light in here. I think we're going to show. Let's go with, let's see where we want to go to. I do like these visual effects this guy has over here. Let's do the visual effects. Then another thing, what they'll do is, again, once showed off these screens, they will make sure that they stick to bright levels, very, very high bright levels. Even though in those bright levels, they're faded and washed out. Yes, they're very faded and washed out. They will stick to these bright colors because they can maintain better in those environments. And they still try to control as much light as possible. Even in that well-lit environment, somewhat well-lit environment, you will still see pockets of darkness in the environment. I forgot to open up my curtains over there. Hold on for a minute. Let me get my curtains. Make sure we get those open, right? It is going to be today, I think, I'm not sure. Our firm is telling me because she knows I like to get outside and do these demonstrations. She was like you know it's going to be around 50 something degrees outside. So it's going to be 50 something degrees outside, which means Mr. Bird will be outside today if the weather is nice to do some demonstrations on the 150-inch screen. So this is how we do our environments. Got the window open, plenty of light pushing through. I don't open up the window on that side. We got the veneer curtains, plenty of light passes through on that window over here. But due to the fact I don't use it because it's very close to my neighbor's house, and I want them to feel comfortable. I'm walking in here with a camera. They know what I do for a living anyway, but still, you know, I like to keep this. We still have light coming through. And this is how it's supposed to be, people. Let's back up a little bit because I don't want to be too much deep windows when I'm doing this. There you go. See, I can have my windows open. This is how your environment is supposed to look. Not with that dinky light in the corner. Let's turn this off. Like this. There we go. Let's see. We got some beautiful 4K fish. Where we want to go out on here? I haven't done Sony. Sharp 4K demonstrations. It says shark. Sharp 4K demonstration. Bet you she butchers it again. Yep. You can't figure out sharp from sharp. Sharp, shark. You can't see the K and the P. You can't hear it. So you have to put that in. So I haven't done any sharp demonstrations in a while. And I figure I might as well. Sharp. Let's see, space here. Here we go. Let's see. Now let's pick demonstrations that we know where they can't go. Let's go check out Las Vegas. Got nice scenery right here. Demo from Las Vegas. This should be easy. Now this is what you should be expecting when you watch a demonstration with a projection screen. You should be able to pick up a contrast level in a fully lit environment. No windows being blocked, none of that nonsense. That's why I told you when I watch demonstrations and I watch people blocking the windows, they'll put dark shades up there, they'll put curtains up there, they'll put objects in the windows, all that stuff. Now, if you guys really want to get into smoke and mirrors, oh man, you don't want to do that with me. I can break it down for you. I can show you everywhere and all the little tricks that they're using in demonstrations to make their screens look this, that, and the other. Easily. Starting with blinds. Well, blinds are interesting because the blinds, as I told you before, when they have their blinds, are never fully open so you can see objects on the other side. The blinds are always on a slant. So when the light comes through, it's directed downward, giving it the illusion that there's light actually pushing through the window when it's really being directed downward. Blinds are supposed to be fully open where you can actually see objects on the other side. Covering up windows. Pretty much that's the one. Plants, vases, anything large you can stick in the window. Bookcases are not supposed to be in front of a window if you're displaying the window as being a part of the ambient light projection demonstration. There's no bookcases are supposed to be there. Not supposed to have objects. If you have bookcases, if you have something where light can pass through without touching anything, like no objects in the bookcase at all, but altogether the bookcase should never be there. Something else I noticed, the black blinds. Sorry, I gotta mention this. The black blinds are only halfway down. I want to say mid down, but you had statues sitting on the top. Clearly light was pushing through. That would have affected the screen big time. That should have never been there. That should have been pulled all the way up. And again, the bookcase should have never been there. Windows covered up with black fabric or black curtains, and you can see light piercing around the curtains. Yeah, that's a huge indicator right there that they're basically light dodging like there's no tomorrow. Objects at the bottom blocking, indicating light that could be passing under the windows. A 4x8 surface sitting in an environment which should never have been there to begin with, should have been someplace else, and should have not been in the environment to begin with. It was clearly there to block the light that was passing under the window, which would have made contact at the bottom of the screen. Should I say more? Mr. P broke down your demonstration too, easily. The cookie cutter screen, too small, number one. Should have never been sitting underneath of a fireplace. Number two, the lights that you have sitting up in your ceiling would no way in the world make any contact with the 120 or 100 inch screen that you had sitting in that customized pocket that you designed for that screen. Because your screen literally sat under a lip, which means here's your screen. You built another part that came out like this, and then there was the actual ceiling, which had the ambient light, had the lights inside of it. Even when the light came down, that would have never hit your screen because your screen was sitting tucked into the wall, about a couple inches out this way, so the window light on this side wouldn't really make contact. And even when you had the window light on this side, you had your shades, which are all white. When the light hits it, it gives the illusion that there's light passing through, but it's not, it's being blocked. You're just lightening up the curtains, that's all you're doing. And all this stuff. And then it goes on and on. Doors, my personal favorite. If you notice, my door is right there. My hallway light is extremely bright. Why would I bother opening it up? It has nothing to do with what's going on in here. Just like if I do demonstrations downstairs on the 127-inch screen sitting in all those windows, why would I bother opening up the door? It has nothing to do with the screen. It would never make contact there. In order for you to use a door as a form of ambient light projection in your demonstrations, the door must be in direct contact with the screen at all times. Which I noticed when the door was open, a little bit of light passed through, past a certain section of the bookcases, but as it continued on, it remained dark. That's why the black lights could actually produce a bright image when everything else in the background couldn't. Because where the door started, that's where the light was. Where it ended, it was not there. And that's why you had the pocket of darkness sitting right there in the corner, because the light from here wasn't making it to there. White LED lights. In a lot of demonstrations, I've seen people use white LED lights behind the screen. They'll have the environment somewhat ambient light, but they'll keep the white lights here to make the area nice and bright. Let me explain to you the difference between two types of white LED lights, and I have them downstairs. There are two versions of these. One of them will make your hallway look like this. Yeah, it'll brighten that room up like there's no tomorrow. These are called commercial LED lights. These are the ones you use when you go to a hotel lobby and you see these great big bright lights under the desks and countertops and bookcases. That's what these are. These things are really bright. I got these things on dim. That's how bright these things are. Now, if you stick those in your environment, put that behind the back of your screen, oh, some stuff's going to fade out extremely fast. That's the difference between those. The LED lights that you buy that I have downstairs in the basement, the white levels only go up by so high. I'm going to show you that later on. We're going to do some demonstrations on LED lights, and I'll show you that the difference between the two. They are quite bright, but the ones downstairs, they're not that bright. Those are the ones we're putting in here. We're putting those lights in here because I like how bright they are. So there's certain things you have to watch out when you're watching these demonstrations. And then, again, ultra short throw projectors, my personal favorite. And I'll tell you why. Because these particular projectors are used all the time in these demonstrations. You know why? The distance throw. The distance throw is much shorter, much shorter. You can have a projector sitting back about 13, 14 feet. That's the average projector, about 12 to 13 feet, 14 feet. That's the average of a 100-inch screen. Where you can have a projector sitting 2 feet, 1 foot, whatever it may be, a couple inches from the screen. The distance throw is no longer there anymore. That means that their 3,000 lumens or whatever that projector has, it's going to have a less chance of deteriorating before it makes from A to B because the travel time is not even there. Yes, big difference between 13 feet back and traveling through a well-lit environment to 2 feet or a foot back and traveling through distance, which means you have less of a chance. Even the big companies know this one at the end of the day. That's why when you watch demonstrations, they got all ultra short throws in there. Either it's going to be a short throw or an ultra short throw, but something's going to be sitting in that room and it's not going to have a distance throw attached to it. And that's why when you see demonstrations, that's what we call a crutch projector, because this is a projector they have to have. Now, if they were asked to swap out that projector for a year and then do the demonstrations and a fully lit environment, including contrast levels also, do you think it'll be done? No, they can't do that. The screen will wash out. They would have issues. All kinds of stuff would pop up. They couldn't display the same demonstrations that they display. And if it was agreement where, not an agreement, I'm saying they couldn't use any demonstrations in the dark for 1 year. Do you think they could do it? They can't. We could put that challenge up today. No demonstrations done for 1 year. Projector must be 720p. No one would go near that with a 10-foot pole. We could do it easily. All demonstrations must be done in fully lit environments. It's must meter max outs. You think they'll do it? No. And the reason why they can't do it because it's going to disrupt the comfort zone of the screen. Which means, AKA, at the end of the day, you're going to end up spending money for an expensive projector because you're going to have it in order to make it for what the screen can do. And you're going to have to calibrate this projector and you will be in the dark while you do it. See how beautiful that popped up? Can't do that on a gray screen. Only a black screen can do this. Even gunmetals can't even pull that off. And there is sun cascading on my screen right there. Now, these screens work in direct sunlight? No, we don't put that out there. They don't work in direct sunlight. Tell the truth as it is. But there's no way in the world. Just like I said, when you look at certain people who make fake accusations, and we know who you are, we're not going to mention you. When you make a claim that a gray screen can produce a black level like a black screen, that is a 100% black screen. They can't even display this. Impossible. But I think that's what it should be. Demonstrations for 1 year. I got my 720p projector behind me, good to go. We got a fully lit environment, which I got to pretty much finish whitening this room. I might just do that today. I got so many messages to go through on Facebook. It's crazy. But anyway, we're not talking about that right now. All right, so white screen should be a white. Well, we don't. They don't have the white area, so we know that. But at least that's 720p, and bring that thing back the full 13 feet back. Bring it all the way back to this windows. Remove that bookcase out of the way. Get it out of the way. Those of you who have bookcases, lamps. I'm not talking one person, about anybody who's doing this. Get that out of the way. If you're going to be showing windows and you're going to point a camera at a window, make sure that there's nothing blocking anything in the window before you do that demonstration. Because it's not, these are the things you have to watch out when you watch these demonstrations. You have to be careful about. When someone points the side over here and goes, look, the ambient light here. That has nothing to do with what's going on over here when you do a demonstration. If you're going to show an ambient light environment, you don't point your camera here and talk. You basically back up and you show your whole entire environment. That's what you show when you do a demonstration. That's how it's done. And that's what you should be seeing. If anyone is showing you Starfield screensaver, if anyone's showing you a demonstration where they have to literally get up and walk over to a screen and press a camera against the screen to show you a contrast level, that is a major red flag that there's a problem there. Because what's going to happen is you, the customer, are going to get home, paint the screen on your wall, and then find out that if you turn your lights on, whoop, it's going to wash out. So anyway, you're going to see a real contrast level. You got to be in that same environment with that same projector. Because if you think for a second that 2 million to 1 contrast ratio is not affecting that screen's capability to pull a slightly darker contrast level, you're sadly mistaken. It is. That's why they're using it. I've been in basically on meetings where people were basically going to be displaying our technology, and they'll sit there and discuss, even though we don't need it, they'll discuss what projectors to use to make the screen look amazing in a demonstration. Well, we use this one because it's brighter. We use this one because it has a higher color capability. We use this one because it has massive contrast. They have these discussions when they pick out their projectors. A gravity projector. No, they have what they're going to use for that demonstration, what videos are going to use for that demonstration, how that script's going to be read, how the environment's going to look, where to put this, where to put that at. My personal favorite is condensed lighting. I love when people smoke screens, condensed lighting. So the condensed lighting will be somewhere about there, and there. Nowhere near the screen is that. So when the light comes down, you'll see those spots here, 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 and here. That's why when I'm watching demonstrations, I'm not looking at your ceiling, I'm looking at your floor. Your floor is going to tell me where your lighting is hitting. Same thing if you have lighting on the walls, I'm looking at the back of your walls. Chances are condensed lighting, they have it pointed upward this way. So when it hits the wall, you got this bright light here, but it's not making any contact there. That's why in the other house, when I had condensed lighting, I would turn off the projector and you would see lights hitting the screen here, here, and here. That's why I did those demonstrations that way. But anytime I watch, and my personal favorite with Knox will have a picture over here with some condensed lighting, and the rest of the environment will be really poorly lit, and I go, look, there's lighting over here. It's a well-lit environment. No, that's a complete fail. You do not have the right, for those of you that are putting ambient light projection, symbols next to your products, you don't have the right to have it there. If you want a real test, I'll test your stuff. I'll take you outside, see if you pick up, because you should be able to pick up outside without a problem. So, as I said before, that's what you're going to have to watch out for. Inside, you're not really getting an ambient light. Ooh, the size of that bird. Inside, you're not really getting any form of ambient light rejection technology. And if they said the product is not ambient light rejection, that's another thing you have to watch out for, because everything today is ambient light. Can you imagine when, I remember when when stereo was considered to be like the new thing. I was around when AM was popular. Literally, when AM was popular. That's how old I am. That's when it was popular. I remember having hand radios that played AM, and then FM came in. FM was much crisper, much cleaner, and the sound was much better. People could tell, people would only tune in the stations at that particular time that had that new FM sound. If you had an FM radio, you can hear that FM sound. Now that's how old I am. I was out when hand radios played AM, not FM. So when we first heard FM, that sound, it was so crisp, so clean, and a lot of the radio stations were grappling toward that FM sound. If you didn't have, and there's still AM sound out there is people that listen to it, but the majority of the bass went toward that new sound. Same thing when you had cassette players over CDs. If a system you buy today didn't have a CD player in it, at that particular time didn't have a CD player in it, nobody would touch it with a 10-foot pole. Majority of the old retro gurus would go near the cassette players. I was a retro guru, I had a couple of cassette players, but I also had CD also. So again, today, if your screen's saying it's not ambient light rejection, that is not a good thing. And again, I'm showing you things in this demonstration that you will not see in other demonstrations, which you're supposed to see contrast levels. We can easily pull color, white levels, and you're supposed to see contrast. But mainly, you have to see those colors, and you have to see that contrast level. Let's go over to, let's leave out of space. And let's go over to, let's see where we want to go to. They have options, I'm telling you. Mind you, it's your money, your investment at the end of the day. You want to make sure you're getting the most out of your home theater setup. And you don't want to change your environment. You don't want to calibrate. That's another thing I'm strongly against calibrated projectors being used in demonstrations. Due to the fact that they are enhancing the projector's capabilities. And what if a person doesn't want to calibrate at the end of the day? What about that customer? So he's going to be forced to calibrate a projector due to the fact that he needs to have a better picture quality. That's not good. Doing demonstrations in the dark, definitely not good. Due to the fact that the customer may not want to change out its environment to look like a cave at the end of the day. So that's things people do not want to go through. Sharp demonstration. There we go. Did that the first time, it didn't go through. Let's see where we want to go at. Should put on sharp 4K demonstration. Sharp, so it makes sense that tapes. Wow. But these are all 1 year ago. Yeah, I guess these will do. Here we go. I was showing you something. They had this one. Here we go. It's the right one. So this is what you should be getting at the end of the day. You should be getting a screen that can pull up in a fully lit environment. You shouldn't have to be stuck in a dark environment. And you shouldn't be tricked over smoke and mirrors. Again, you got to be careful about people that are using high-end, high-power projectors, ultra-short throw projectors, so that way they can cut down on the distance throw, if not all of it. You don't want to look at dark windows that are covered up by black curtains and black blinds and all that to keep any light from transferring through. You don't want to be in an environment where you're going to have screens obstructing light from the windows, because you don't want that at all, period. And I'm talking about large objects like plants and lamps and all kinds of things that will have in there, especially massive bookcases in the way. You don't want that because that's going to block a lot of light. And if you look at our distance from our window to the screen is very short due to the fact that, as I said before, the distance throw is not even there from ambient light hitting the screen. And that's something to notice, that you'll have some windows way in the back. You can't really count that at the end of the day because that's really not making access to the light. That's another thing I forgot to bring up in the topic. Windows that sit too far back away from the screen. When you're watching demonstrations and that screen is fired up and that window is way back 13, 14 feet away from the screen, that's not a good sign. Window's too far away. That'll be like me showing you my screen downstairs and then going, hey, look, my screen downstairs, my window light's all the way in the kitchen, it's affecting the window light and my lounge. It's not affecting the lounge. And that's something I noticed. Windows sitting too far away from the actual screen. That doesn't even count. If it did and the window light was making contact, you would see all that at the bottom. Now, like I said, you'll have people trying to debunk the theory. They're going to go, no, he's wrong, this, that, and the other. I'll show you the demonstration. This is what they're going to do. They're going to open up a door. They're going to open up the windows with the bookcase distracting the windows. They're going to use the ultra short term projector, which is going to be sitting right up on top of the screen, which is distant though it's not even going to be there. They're going to make sure the environment where the screen is at is going to be nice and dark, but they're going to brighten up the white levels. And none of that light that's coming from the window or the door is going to make contact with the screen. Now, if they try to brighten up a little bit more and try to bring light toward the wall, what you're going to know is in the demonstration, they will display a lot of bright, vivid colors. Something's going to fade less. They're not going to do any contrast levels, no comparisons, nothing. And I guarantee that video won't even go into an hour. Oh, let me show you my settings real quick. This is my settings on my projector. My brightness is at 9 and my projector sits in whisper mode, which means I'm in eco mode right now. Now, if they're great products or more superior than gunmetal, mind you, you have excluded gunmetal technology. Gunmetal exists. Starfield screensaver. The reason why our technology, we can go into the elitists, for those guys who have those 20,000 and 5,000 and 15,000, 30,000 projection screens, because our technology can take on a gunmetal screen like there's no tomorrow. But how does a gray screen paint product measure up to a $3,000, $5,000 projection screen? We'll be talking about that also too. Because if you're going to talk about a screen that's supposed to be superior and it's supposed to have amazing quality, you should be to take on every single gunmetal on the market without a problem. And if you haven't, then that makes you the screen below the gunmetal, because we're over gunmetals. So let's see out there that they can. Mine is a lot of. Oh man, the gunmetal. They're never going to pass that. They'll never pass a dark star 9. They can't even pass a black diamond. And again, I explained this to you before. You will spend more money with a gray screen. You will do more work with a gray screen. You will have a darker environment with a gray screen. You cannot use the gray screen outside if your life depended on it. Not going to happen. If not, I would have seen one by now. I would have seen 150, 180, 200 inch screen outside around 5 o'clock. I would have seen it 27 feet back. I would have seen Starfield demonstrations. I would have seen everything. Nope, I haven't seen one yet. They can barely see inside. How are you going to see outside? They can't even do this. It's a basic Starfield demonstration. you had a white screen in here, that's what you'd be picking up right now. There's no way in the world if you put a gray screen against that right there and say, hey, look, that right there on a gray screen is going to look the same thing as that. Now, in this we're going to be talking about the wallpaper technology and how to do it and all that stuff. That we're also going to talk about in this environment. Like I said, this is going to be the reality room to explain to you what you need to look for, what you need to ask for. First-time buyers buying a screen for the first time, you need to ask questions. Contrast levels, are you going to be seeing them? Can you use them in fully lit environments? What type of projector are they using in the demonstration? These are questions you need to ask, because whatever they're using in that demonstration to make that screen look that way, you're going to have the same thing or higher. There's no way in the world you're going to go to an exhibit and see a $50,000 projector and you're going to say, I can do the same thing with the same. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to buy that projector, or better. If someone's telling you that you can calibrate a projector to look like that machine, that's the biggest lie on the face of the planet. If that's the case, why would you even buy it? Why would you go out and spend that kind of money for a projector if you could just simply go buy what I have here behind me and calibrate to look that way? They always start the bar way too high. Customers not going to be relate to that, period. Now, some will, but majority of them won't. How are you selling a product? I'm sorry, I have to go down this road, but it is. This is what your tactic is. You're selling a product that the machine using to display the product will cost more than the product. Much like if you look at some of these big companies out here that are displaying a screen that's $5,000, that projector could very well be 30 grand. You just bought a screen that's going to require a projector that's going to that has to have the exact same capability as in the demonstration. If that's why you bought the screen to begin with, because of what you saw in the demonstration. Just like if you're watching this demonstration of a star field pulling up with all this light around the screen, you're expecting to buy the exact same projector that I have in the demonstration to get the exact same performance from the screen. The good thing about it is it'll cost you $109 or $250 would be the highest. That's it. Yeah, there you go. I've been telling y'all for that for years. 4 years, I'll explain that to you. You're only going to get the performance from that projector unless you own or have one that's higher. And that's what brought you to buy the screen, the technology. The difference is with our technology, we don't use high-end projectors because we don't require them. That's why we don't use them. People who basically cannot use 720p projectors, and they're trying to back and look my screen. No. Understand this. Any demonstrations I see on a gray screen paint product when it's 720p looks like garbage. It does, I'm sorry. It looks really bad. It doesn't look the same way. If you're saying it does look the same way, then do a side-by-side comparison. Easy. Or those shove whatever screen they can in whatever corner, or whatever area, or whatever platform. I'm not saying just one particular individual, or shove a screen in it. That's an individual shove a screen in any area to try to prove his point, where big companies will go out there and they'll take a high-end projector, take a screen, and they'll basically set up the entire environment. And that projector, I guarantee you, sitting behind you was calibrated by a professional. But I've yet to see any of them display a Starfield demonstration in a fully lit environment. All right, so let's say you take that wallpaper surface, and we're going to show you that demonstration. We're going to get a wallpaper surface, and we're going to paint it with gray screen paint. Show you how you wasted your time, and you wasted the material, making a move like that. Because some of that, well, I can get the same thing. I'll just go out and I'll buy the wallpaper surface, and I'll coat it with some gray paint. What did you do? Why? You just made literally a wallpaper version of a white screen. That's what you did. You took a high-tech, slick surface, and you dumbed down your projector with it. That's pretty much what you're doing when you have a great screen. You're dumbing your projector down, making it stupid. Because your projector can see contrast. The only problem is your screen can't see it. Your projector can see color, but your screen can't see it. Your color can work, your projector can work in a fully lit environment, depends on what it is. But like I said, you have cheap knockoff ones. But this one right here, even 1,000 lumen will pick up. But because your screen can't see it, you just dumb down your projector. So the screen just gave up. Like, nope, I'm done. That is a 28 sheet of fiberglass. And you can't, this is supposed to be wallpaper surface. And I've heard seen people talking about going in and using gray paint. Now, I'm going to shut my curtains behind. I'm going to use the everyday light in here and show you even with just shut, you still are going to have problems. I'll keep my window open on that side. I keep this down because there's kids walking by and I don't know if I'm too creepy or anything. Then we got our curtains closed behind us, right here. And you're still not picking it up. So what if you use everyday house paint? We've been to that before. Not going to work. We're the only technology. We've already been to that. The forum sites that we've been through, these people have tried to dig up everything and anything you could possibly think of. Couple places couple things I've seen, yeah, they dug up everything you can think of. These Knox paint-on screens, we've been through all those companies already. They tried gunmetal screens, the real dark ones. Nope, they're gunmetal, they're great. At the end of the day, we got the test over here to back it up. They dug up everything. When I sat there on my computer and I said, I'm going to search out and find everything we possibly can to throw against our technology, that's why we did that. Because we walk into a forum site, we know they're going to go dig up everything on the site. They couldn't find anything to match technology's demonstrations, not one. But everybody in there has gray paint. I showed you that fellow's home theater, beautiful home theater, a gorgeous home theater. But when he turned the lights on, what happened to his screen? It washed out. Same effect right there. So that's what you have to be careful about. The fake demonstrations, excessive use with ultra short throws. They will pull out a 720p once a blue moon just to try to back up a theory, but they won't swap it out. They upset, we call them crutch projectors, crutch environments where they can't have a lot of light in the environment if your screen's going to wash out. They would choose what particular videos they would use in those environments. And then they'll do things like, look, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm showing you the remote control, you know what I'm talking about. But as you're showing the remote control, you have to lean over to objects because you can't see them and they're casted in shadows. And then you display on this side, but you have a light area with a lot of white LED lights behind everything to lighten it up to make them bright. But as you turn here, it's nothing but darkness in this corner. You can't make out objects. Everything is dark here and here. And then the worst upon worst, that get up and show a contrast level. And I tell you, you got to be careful about that. If a person has to get up off a chair or move out of a position to walk over to a screen and show you a contrast level, that's the first sign that's a bad idea. That there's something wrong, definitely something wrong there. I'm going to finish. Okay, so just showing you right there. Tomorrow, no, we still got some more demonstrations to do today. I got to get downstairs. I got orders I got to get ready in the morning. I got calls that are coming in the morning and a few. Wednesday, I'll be taking care of some business. But right now after this, I want to go into my YouTube channel and we're going to check out what people have been talking about and see if we can talk to some people because I try not to let a few days go by. You know, I'm going to try to talk to people as fast as possible. But as I'm saying, you know, just watch out. Make sure if you're buying a projection screen for the first time, you want to make sure you know what you're getting. You don't want to be stuck watching a demonstration where a person is using a very expensive projector or they're using very expensive projectors in the demonstration because, like I said, at the end of the day, you're going to have to spend the money for that machine in order to get that picture quality. Find out those projectors have been calibrated. Something we do not want to use is calibrated projectors because at the end of the day, like I said, this is something you're going to have to do in order to achieve that picture quality. And if they are mainly relying on one particular projector, they may use a 720p once in a blue moon just to show off that their product works on 720p. Don't believe that nonsense because you want to see the same demonstration that was displayed on 720p. You want it in a fully lit environment and you must request contrast levels at all times. Anytime we're dealing with black technology, we are requested to display white levels at all times. This is something you need to request. You do not want to make sure that you're requesting these contrast levels, that the individual who's displaying them must be back from the screen at 13 feet and the environment must be well lit. The exact same lit environment you have in your environment. That's what you want. You make sure you're getting exactly what you paid for. And it would help to do a side-by-side. Side-by-sides are very important. We do demonstrations, like I said, at the end of the day, to make sure and ensure our customers that they're not being shipped over everyday black paint or something that's not real, we do demonstrations of black paint against our products. This is something you need to request. You need to request if you want to see tests against other gray screen paint products, and you want to see a huge significant difference in the outcome of those two products side by side. This is very important. You want to make sure you're getting exactly what you paid for at the end of the day. So this is something you need to request. Mind you, this is your dime at the end of the day. When we go to these forum sites, these people ask us all these tough and crazy questions, but guess what? We can go in there and we can answer any question they want. You know why? Because we've done the test. That's why. And one of the first things that pop up, oh, I bet your product is nothing more than black paint. I love those. Those are the ones that make me wag my tail, make me the happiest. Oh, I've got something for you. Check out this video. I'll send it to their account. They'll watch it. They'll come back and say, where do I buy? There you go. Where do I buy? Especially if I'm talking to somebody who has a very high-end projector, and the first thing they'll say is, how much did you pay for your machine in the back? Oh, mine's 109. This is mine. You got to be kidding me. That's a paperweight over here. We don't even use those things. You're getting that from that? Yes, I am, from that screen. So they figure that I can get that kind of image from, in this fully lit environment, which is way beyond what they're using over there, from that projector. How much more they're going to get out of theirs at the end of the day. How much you're missing out of a projector that they put a ton of money into at the end of the day. I'm going to do another demonstration on why you do not want to waste the $28 wallpaper surface we have here by painting it over with a gray screen product. Now, like I said, when you use these screens, when you coat them with our technology, we request for you to prime it. So pretty much all you just did was just prime the screen to get it ready for our stuff. That's pretty much. And I had a few people asking me, was this painted on the wall? Nope. That's wallpaper. All right. I want to go check out, see what's going on my YouTube channel. And I'm going to pop over to Facebook too, which I'm doing the next one. We're checking out with the customers. I can answer them back. They have any questions or comments or links, anything I can help them out with. Some are probably requesting wallpaper because they probably didn't see the links in the other demonstrations. So I'm going to be putting those links out too also. Got to go. Thank you for your time. Do your research. Watch out when you're buying. And look out for those smoke and mirrors. Like I said, you don't want to be fooled into buying something, get it home, and it doesn't work. Thank you for your time. I have to go, and God bless.